esteemed delegates, my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon and welcome to the third summit of the Voice of Global South. Today, we are entering into the third edition of this pivotal gathering where we unite to voice our shared aspirations, challenges, and commitments towards a brighter future for our nations. As we gather here today, our collective focus and efforts are directed towards enhancing and sharing our thoughts on topic of the session, which is trade for development, perspectives from the global south. Without any further ado, I now have the privilege to invite Sri Sunil Bathwal, the Vice Minister, Ministry of Commerce and Industry of the Government of India, to officially inaugurate our session with his opening remarks.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar. Good morning, good afternoon to all of you. Let me extend a warm welcome to all present here in the third virtual Voice of Global South Summit under the theme Trade for Development, Perspectives from Global South. Our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi was prescient in his remarks at the first VOC summit when he highlighted, and I quote, India has always shared its developmental experience with our brothers of the Global South. Our development partnerships cover all geographies and diverse sectors, unquote. Today, he has again spoken about taking it to VOX 3.0 with higher ambitions and greater unity for all its members. Therefore, today's summit aims to take forward the spirit of sharing so that the Global South may be in one voice speak of its priorities and concerns on the world stage. It is a matter of immense pride for us that it was during India's The Voice of Global South Summit to listen to the challenges and perspectives of Global South countries and bring together an important group of nations to collaborate on political, economic, social, environmental, cultural, and technological issues. During the first and second VOC summits held in January and November 2023, our leaders discussed ways to overcome common development challenges in the current volatile global economy. They also stress the need for reformed global governance, peaceful resolutions to disputes, and an inclusive, sustainable future for all. In the trade minister sessions of the previous two summits, ministers deliberated on issues pertaining to inclusive trade and resilient supply chains. During the first summit, ministers shared strategies on improving the business environment and ensuring access to critical technologies and resources. During the second summit, ministers underscored their commitments to provide effective integration of Global South countries into global value chains in a resilient, reliable, as well as development-oriented manner. India wishes to utilize this platform today to build upon our previous discussions and constructively engage on A. Increasing cooperation in areas of food security and global value chains. B. Addressing challenges faced by MSMEs. And C. Addressing challenges posed by the current international trading system to meet the development aspirations of the Global South countries. As you are aware, increasing the participation of the Global South countries in global value chains can significantly help us, and indeed the whole world, achieve the sustainable development goals. It must be noted that South-South trade has improved from 11% to 25% during the period 1995 to 2020. According to UNCTAD, 50% of developing countries' exports are linked to global value chains. However, Only 11% of their exports represent backward linkages, while 31% are associated with forward linkages. This indicates that exports of developing countries and LDCs are dominated by raw materials and unprocessed goods. In this regard, participation in higher levels of GVCs in strategic sectors is crucial for us. This requires us to invest in more advanced manufacturing while also nurturing a workforce with the requisite skills to take up high-end manufacturing. It is crucial to ensure that the developing countries and LDCs move up the value chains. In terms of services exports, while developing countries account for 24% of global trade, LDCs contribute only 0.61%. Thus, we also need to look beyond the manufacturing sector for trade and investment linkages and develop a vibrant services sector. Our people providing services in other countries is a major contribution to the global wealth. In 2023, developing countries, including LDCs, received approximately $687 billion in remittances. However, the high cost of transfer of remittances is a concern for developing countries and LDCs. For instance, a reduction in cost by 5% would provide an additional $40 billion to recipient countries. India's proposal to lower the cost of cross-border remittances has found support from several World Trade Organization members, and we are glad about it. On the issue of food security, we must first and foremost recognize that for most Global South members, it is also intrinsically linked to livelihood security. We cannot rest content with the fact that the percentage of the global population suffering from undernourishment has decreased from 12% in 2005 to 9% in 2023. The 9% here represents more than 700 million undernourished people globally. I want to highlight that the LDCs are facing pervasive farm distress, which is evident from the fact that LDC's share of rice imports and wheat imports stood at 21% and 14% respectively. LDC's high import reliance for food grains is a result of multiple challenges, including lack of institutional support, small farm size, price risks, high energy cost, and import surges. India has taken a positive role in addressing the food security concerns, not only of its 1.4 billion population, but also of the Global South by providing rice and wheat to countries in need through G2G exchanges. In this regard, India calls upon the Global South countries to collaborate and find solutions to address the challenges of securing food security. Micro, small, and medium enterprises play a crucial role in ensuring trade growth and employment generation, as they account for 60% of global employment and 35% of GDP in developing countries. However, they face problems including high trade finance costs, information gaps, and lack of capacity to access foreign export markets. I must emphasize that digital solutions offer promise in addressing issues of trade costs in accessing the export markets for MSMEs. In this regard, Global South countries should consider implementing payment systems, interoperability to enable greater trade linkages and benefit MSMEs to improve their access to global markets. The second major concern is the trade and logistics facilitation infrastructure available to MSMEs. MSMEs face barriers in accessing foreign markets due to high trade compliance costs related to custom clearances, procedures, and other regulations. And we need to address all of these through our united voice. In the previous WOC Summit meetings, if you recall, we sought to collaborate with the International Trade Center's Global Trade Help Desk initiative for effective implementation of the Jaipur Call for Action to enhance MSMEs' access to information. The Global Trade Help Desk aims at integrating comprehensive information from various sources dealing with market requirements, export import procedures, business opportunities, including e commerce and policy outlook. This platform today can be used to find ways to improve the participation of our MSMEs in global trade and thereby help achieve our development aspirations. Finally, I wish to address the systemic challenges that impair the participation of the global south in the current international trading system. Developing countries and LDCs need to be provided flexibility in the form of special and differential treatment and CBDRRC principles so that they may preserve their policy space to achieve development goals. SDD thus remains a crucial and non-negotiable right under the WTO framework to ensure that global trade is fair, inclusive, and sustainable. India has also been steadfast in its commitments to give LDCs a sufficient transition period when they graduate from their LDC status. The global south countries are facing challenges both in terms of developing climate and sustainable development strategies and responding to unilateral measures such as the carbon border adjustment mechanism. Unilateral environment measures do not reflect the principles of equity and common but differentiated responsibilities and hamper the equitable world trade. Further, the WTO appellate body, impasse, has disrupted the multilateral trading system and its ability to devise new rules to govern the new economic order. We need to spearhead WTO reforms which address our issues. I would like to conclude on the point of what cooperation between Global South members can achieve on the ground. In 2024, thanks to sustained efforts by us in Global South, we were able to secure the linkage between the WTO TRIPS agreement and the Convention on Biological Diversity through the WIPO Treaty on Intellectual Property, Genetic Resources, and Associated Traditional Knowledge. This will help Global South members preserve their rich traditional knowledge and diverse genetic resources from being usurped without due recognition. Excellencies, I now look forward to listening to all of you, and we would welcome your suggestions on the actions that we can take jointly for accomplishing the shared outcomes for the shared prosperity of the voice of Global South. Thank you so much.